1300 brick masonry. 1301 description. This work shall consist of construction of structures with bricks jointed together by cement mortar in accordance with the details shown on the drawing or as approved by the engineer. 1302 materials. All materials to be used in the work shall conform to the requirements laid down in section 1000 of these specifications. Personnel. Construction of brick work shall be carried out only by masons having sufficient experience, training in the work. Cement mortar. Proportioning and mixing of mortar, cement and sand shall be mixed in a specified proportion given on the drawing. Cement shall be proportioned by weight, taking the unit weight of cement as 1.44 tons per cubic meter. Sand shall be proportioned by volume with due allowance for bulking. All mortar shall be mixed with a minimum quantity of water to produce desired workability consistent with required density. The mix shall be clean and free from soil, acid, alkali, organic matter, or other deleterious substances. The mix shall be done in a mechanical mixer operated manually or by power. As an exception, hand mixing can also be resorted to as long as uniform density of the mix and its strength are assured. Hand mixing shall be permitted only for very small and isolated works like CD works, subject to the prior approval of the engineer. Hand mixing shall be carried out on a clean, watertight platform where cement and sand shall be first mixed dry in the required proportion by being turned over and over, backward and forward several times till the mixture is of uniform color. Thereafter, minimum quantity of water shall be added to bring the mortar to the consistency of a stiff paste. The mortar shall be mixed for at least 2 minutes after addition of water. Mortar shall be mixed only in such quantity as required for immediate use. The mix which has developed initial set shall not be used. Initial set of mortar with ordinary Portland shall normally be considered to have taken place in 30 minutes after mixing. In case the mortar have stiffened during initial setting time because of evaporation of water, it can be re-tempered by adding water as frequently as needed to restore the requisite consistency. But such re-tempering shall not be permitted 30 minutes after mixing. Mortar remaining unused for more than 30 minutes after mixing shall be rejected and removed from site work. Testing of mortar. Necessary test to determine compressive strength of mortar Its consistency and water resistivity shall be carried out in accordance with IS 2250. For compressive strength test, the frequency of testing shall be 1 cube for every 2 mq of mortar, subject to a minimum of 3 cubes for a day's work. Soaking of bricks. All bricks shall be thoroughly soaked in a tank filled with water for a minimum period of 1 hour prior to being laid. Soaked bricks shall be removed from the tank sufficiently in advance so that they are skin dry at the time of actual laying. Such soaked bricks shall be stacked at a clean place where they are not contaminated with dirt, earth, etc. Joints. The thickness of joints shall not exceed 10 mm. All joints on exposed faces shall be tooled to give concaveness. Laying. All brickwork shall be laid in an English bond, even and true to line, plumb and level, and all joints accurately kept in accordance with the drawing or as directed by the engineer. Half and cut brick shall not be used except when necessary to complete the bond. Closure in such case shall be cut to the required size and used near the end of the wall. The brick used at the face and also at all angles forming the junction of any two walls shall be selected whole bricks of uniform size with true and rectangular faces. All bricks shall be laid with frogs up on a full bed of mortar except in case the bricks. Each brick shall be properly bedded and set in position by slightly pressing while laying, so that the mortar gets into all its surface pores to ensure proper adhesion. All head and side joints shall be completely filled by applying sufficient mortar to brick already placed and on bricks to be placed. All joints shall be properly flushed and packed with mortar so that no hollow spaces are left. No bats or cut bricks shall be used except to obtain dimension of the different courses for specified bonds or wherever a desired shape so required. The brickwork shall be built in uniform layers, and for this purpose wooden straight edge with graduations indicating thickness. Thickness of each course, including joints, shall be used. Corners and other advanced work shall be racked back. Brickwork shall be done true to plumb or in a specified batter. All courses shall be laid truly horizontal, and vertical joints shall be truly vertical. Vertical joints in alternate courses shall come direct one over the other. During construction, no part of work shall raise more than 1 meter above the general construction level to avoid unequal settlement and improper joints. Where this is not possible, the work shall be racked back according to the bond and not to thin at an angle not steeper than 45 degree with prior approval of the engineer. Toothing may also be permitted where future extension is contemplate, contemplated. Before laying bricks in foundation, the foundation slab shall be thoroughly hacked, swept clean and wetted. A layer of mortar not less than 12 mm thick shall be spread on the surface of the foundation slab before the first course of brick is laid. Jointing old and new works. Where fresh masonry is to join with masonry that is partially entirely set, the exposed jointing surface of the set masonry shall be cleaned, roughened and wetted so as to achieve the best possible bond with the new work. All loose bricks and mortar or other materials shall be removed. In the case of vertical or inclined joints, it shall be further ensured that proper bond between the old and new masonry is obtained by interlocking the bricks. Any portion of the brickwork that has been completed shall remain undisturbed until thoroughly set. In case of sharp corners, especially in skew breeze, a flat cutback of 100 mm shall be provided so as to have proper bonded laying of bricks. Curing. General work shall be protected from rain by suitable covering and shall be kept constantly moist on all faces for a minimum period of 7 days. Brick work carried out during the day shall be suitably be marked, indicating the date on which the work was done, so as to keep a watch on the curing period. The top of the masonry work shall be left flooded with water at the closure of the day. Watering shall be done carefully so as not to disturb or wash out the green mortar. During hot weather, all finished or partially completed work shall be covered or wetted in such a manner as to prevent rapid drying of the brickwork. During the period of curing, the brickwork shall be suitably protected from all damages at the close of day work or for other period of session. Water and curing shall have to be maintained. Should the mortar perish, that is, become dry, white or powdery through neglect or curing, work shall be pulled down to extent required and rebuilt as directed by the engineer. If any strain appears during watering, The same shall be removed for the surface. Scaffolding. Scaffolding shall be sound, strong, and safe to withstand all loads like to come upon it. The holes which provide resting space for horizontal members shall not be left in masonry under 1 meter in width or immediately near the skew back of arches. The holes left in the masonry work for supporting the scaffolding shall be filled and made good. Scaffolding be got approved by the engineer, but its safety shall be the responsibility of the contractor. Equipments. All tools and equipment used for mixing, transporting, and laying of mortar and bricks shall be clean and free from set mortar, dirt, or other injurious foreign substances. Finishing of surface general. All bricks shall be finished in a workmanlike manner with the thickness of joints, manner of striking or tooling as described in the specification. The surface can be finished by jointing, pointing, or plastering as shown on the drawing. For a surface which is to be subsequently plastered or pointed, the joints shall be squarely racked out to a depth of 15 mm. While the mortar is still green, the racked joints shall be well brushed to remove dust and loose particles, and the surface shall be thoroughly cleaned and wetted. The mortar for finishing shall be prepared as per clause 1304. Jointing. In jointing, the face of the mortar shall be worked out while still green to give a finished surface flush with the face of the brickwork. The face of brickwork shall be cleaned to remove any splashes or mortar during the course of raising the brickwork. Pointing shall be carried out using mortar not lesser than 1:3 by volume of cement and sand, so as shown on the drawing. The mortar shall be filled and spread into the racked joints before giving the required finish. The pointing shall be ruled type, for which it shall, while still green, be ruled along the center with half round tools of such a width as may be specified by the engineer. The superfluous mortar shall then be taken off from the edge of the lines, and the surface of the masonry shall be cleaned for all mortar. The work shall conform to IS 2212 raised jointing, which project beyond the face of stone. Bricks or block shall be avoided. Plastering shall be done where shown on the drawing. Superficial plastering may be done, if necessary, only in a structure situated in fast-flowing rivers or in several existing environments. Plastering shall be started from top and worked down. All holes shall be properly filled advance of the plastering while scaffolding is being taken down. Wooden screeds 75 wide and of the thickness of the plaster shall be fixed vertically 2.5 meter to 4 meter apart to act as gauge and guide in applying the plaster. The mortar shall be laid on the wall between the screeds using the plaster's float and pressing the mortar so that the rect joints are properly filled. The plaster shall then be filled up with wooden straight edge reaching across the screeds. The straight edge shall be worked on the screeds with a small upward and sideways motion 50 to 75 at a time. Finally, the surface shall be finished off with a plaster wooden float. Metal float shall not be used. When recommencing plastering beyond the work suspended earlier, the edge of the old plaster shall be scraped, cleaned and wetted before plaster is applied to the adjacent area. No portion of the surface shall be left unfinished for patching up at a later period. The plaster shall be finished true to plumb surface and to the proper degree of smoothness as directed by the engineer. The average thickness of plaster shall not be less than that specified. The minimum thickness over any portion of the surface shall not be less than the specified thickness by more than 3 Any crack which appear in the surface and all portion which sound hollow when tapped or are found to be soft or otherwise defective shall be cut in rectangular shape and redone as directed by the engineer. Curing of finishes. Curing shall be commenced as soon as the mortar used for finishing has hardened sufficiently so as not to damage during curing. The curing shall be done for a period of at least 7 days, during which the finishing shall be suitably protected from all damages. Scaffolding for finishes. Stage scaffolding independent of the structure shall be provided for the work of finish. Hoping for wing return parapet wall. This work shall consist of providing an architectural coping for wing return parapet wall. The material used shall be cement mortar, that is 1 2 3, or as shown on the drawing, prepared in accordance with clause 1304. The cement mortar shall be laid evenly to an average thickness of 15 to the full width of the top of the wall and in a band of 50 depth along the top outer face of the wall. Acceptance of work. All work shall be true to lines and labels as indicated by the drawing or as directed by the engineer, subject to tolerance as indicated in the specification. Mortar cubes shall be tested in accordance with IS 22504 compressive strength, consistency of mortar and its water reactivity. The frequency of testing shall be one sample for every 2 cubic meter of mortar, subject to a minimum 3 samples for a day's work. In case of plaster finish, the minimum surface thickness shall not be less than the specified thickness by more than 3 mm. Measurement for payments. All brickwork shall be measured in cubic meter. Any extra work done by the contractor in excess of the specified dimensions shall be ignored. In arches, the length of arc shall be measured as the average of the length along the extradius and intradus. The work of plastering and pointing shall be measured in a square meter of the surface treated. Coping shall be measured in linear meter. Rate. The contract unit rate for brickwork shall include the cost of all labor, materials, tools and plant, scaffolding and other expense incidental to the satisfactory completion of the work. Sampling, testing and supervision as described in the specification and as shown on the drawing. The contract unit rate for plastering shall include the cost of all labor, materials, tools and plant, scaffolding and incidental expense, sampling, testing and supervision as described in this specification. The contract unit rate for pointing shall include erecting and removal of scaffolding, all labor, materials and equipment incidental to completing the pointing, racking out joints, cleaning, wetting, filling with mortar, trolling, pointing and water sampling and testing and supervision as described in the specification. The contract unit rate for copying shall include cost of all labor, materials, tools and plant, sampling and testing and supervision as described in the specification. This way we have finished